We've all been taught that humans invented farming first, grew wheat, and then finally baked bread. But back in 2018, archaeologists dug up a 14,400-year-old discovery that completely flipped history on its head. Long before anyone planted a single crop, 4,000 years before farming was even a thing, ancient humans had already baked the world's very first loaf. But without farms or cultivated wheat, how on earth did they pull that off? Let's dive in. Picture the black desert of northeastern Jordan 14,400 years ago. No cities, no fences, just endless basalt rock, wild grasses swaying in the wind, and a small group of Natufian hunter-gatherers hauling water and firewood back to camp. Life here isn't gentle. Food runs out fast, meat spoils, wild plants are unpredictable. Some seasons the grasslands are thick with edible grain. Other years they're bone dry. Starvation is always one bad season away. Inside their stone hut, a fire burns low in a circular hearth built from flat basalt slabs. Someone crouches beside it, grinding wild seeds between two rough stones again and again until it turns to a coarse, gritty flour. They're not farmers. They've never planted a seed in their lives. So why are they doing this? What are they actually trying to make? In 2018, a team from the University of Copenhagen, led by archaeologist Tobias Richter, uncovered something buried inside that fireplace at a site called Shubayqa 1. 24 small charred fragments, blackened, brittle, almost invisible to the naked eye. At first, they looked like nothing, burnt scraps, the kind of debris most digs throw away. But archaeobotanist Amaya Aranz Oteagui studied them under a scanning electron microscope, and the structure inside told a different story. A porous matrix, tiny air pockets, the exact texture you'd find in a piece of flatbread. Published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, the findings confirmed it. This was bread, made from wild einkorn wheat and club rush tubers, baked in that very hearth, the oldest known bread yet discovered, predating farming by 4,000 years. Nobody had cultivated a single grain. This wheat grew wild, untouched, ungrown. So if they never farmed it, how did they even think to try?
Here's what should bother you. Grinding wild grain into flour took hours of repetitive, exhausting labor for a small, crumbly flatbread that offered less immediate energy than just eating meat or raw plants. By pure survival logic, that effort makes no sense. Archaeologists agree on one thing: this wasn't about convenience. Something else was driving it. Some researchers point to a broader idea in evolutionary anthropology, costly signaling theory, the notion that effortful, hard-to-produce food can function as a display of skill or generosity within a group, not just fuel for the body. It's a real theory, studied in hunter-gatherer societies like the Hadza, but still debated, not proven fact. If it applies here, that flatbread wasn't just food. It might have been one of humanity's earliest social gestures, which raises a much stranger question. Was bread ever really about hunger at all?
Here's the paradox. Hours of grinding grain seems like wasted energy, but that effort may have been solving a much bigger problem: unpredictability. Wild grains are almost impossible to digest raw. Their starches are locked inside tough cell walls, but grinding breaks that structure down, and cooking transforms it further, a process called starch gelatinization, unlocking far more usable energy than the raw grain ever offered. There's something else. Flour and flatbread could be stored, dried, carried. In a world where wild grasslands might thrive one year and fail to yield the next, that changed everything. So the wasteful effort wasn't wasteful at all. It was insurance, a way to survive the unpredictable months, not just the good ones. This is where it gets interesting. The same instinct, trading short-term effort for long-term security, still drives human decision-making today. That instinct never left us, it just changed shape. Think about it. You meal prep on Sundays, not because Monday's hunger is urgent yet, but because your brain is still running the same ancient math. Invest effort now, remove risk later. You stockpile pantry items during a storm warning. You freeze leftovers you probably won't eat for weeks. None of that is about today's hunger. It's about a version of you that doesn't exist yet, a future self facing an unpredictable tomorrow. We don't consciously remember Shubayqa 1. Nobody carries that memory, but we may have inherited the instinct behind it, a predisposition shaped by thousands of generations who survived by preparing for scarcity before it arrived. So if that instinct is still running the show, how much of what you do today did you actually choose? So how did they pull it off? No farms, no cultivated wheat, nothing we'd recognize as agriculture. The answer is almost disappointing in its simplicity. They didn't need farming. They needed patience, fire, and 2 flat stones. Wild einkorn already grew across the Levant. Clubrush tubers already grew along the wetlands near Shubayqa. The ingredients were always there, waiting for someone willing to grind, wait, and bake. What changed wasn't the wheat, it was the mind holding the grindstone. A mind capable of investing hours today for a payoff it wouldn't see until tomorrow. That mindset, repeated across countless generations of hands we'll never know, sits at the root of something enormous. Some researchers hypothesize that this growing reliance on wild cereals may have been one of the threads that eventually led toward deliberate cultivation, one possible spark among many behind the agricultural revolution, though the exact causal chain is still debated. The fire in that Jordanian hearth went cold 14,400 years ago, but every time you plan for a future you haven't reached yet, some part of you is still tending it.